won. Atlanta won 90-64, holding to Miami to their fewest total playoff points, 64. But Miami in high gear as Wade setting up Udonis Haslem, and the lead now is 11.
I think in game number 2, Atlanta came out with only 18 points in the first quarter. That was their lowest scoring quarter, so Miami has taken advantage of that in the last game and obviously tonight thus far.
And the Atlanta Hawks did not play well on the road this year, and remember they lost 4 straight to the Celtics on the road last year as Chalmers hits a 3. They got to prove they can win on the road. It's going to be, right now, a tall order, Mike, the way this crowd is behind the Heat and the way the Heat have started.
Well, only 16 wins on the road in the regular season. Last year's playoffs with the Celtics, they lost 4 straight. And remember, they were by 25-point average. That's a big average.
And the three-point attempt by Josh Smith, his second. So Atlanta now 2 of 14 from the field, with under 4.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Dick Stockton, Mike Fratello, Cheryl Miller is with us as well tonight. In game number 3, Wade going down the middle, feeding Jermaine O'Neal. O'Neal getting his offensive rebound, knocked away, and it's last touched by Miami. There's Mike Woodson in his 5th year. The Hawks have lost 11 straight road playoff games. Last time they won one was against Chicago back in '97. And as you mentioned, Mike, they were routed in those 4 playoff losses in Boston last year.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of hope up in Boston that the Hawks were going to pull one of those games out. That was the point I was trying to make.
And driving in is Joe Johnson, tipped away, and last touched by the Heat. Into the lineup quickly for the Atlanta Hawks, Zaza Pachulia, a big man who has played well so far in the playoffs, and Flip Murray, who has been their 6th man, coming off a successful game 2 with 15 points. Meanwhile, Mario Chalmers leaves the game and is replaced by Daquan Cook. Cook also with 6 3-pointers, as Wade had as well in the second game of the series. Johnson for 3. And still ice cold. 2 for 15 now for Atlanta, down by 14 points.
Boy, is the Heat defense sharp tonight. I mean, they are all over everything right now. Very physical, very aggressive, taking away every move that the Hawks try to make.
Tremendous energy by Miami off the start of this game. 6 on the shot clock. O'Neal throws it away, and the Hawks will get it back, but only 4 points with 3:30 remaining in the first.
And one of the guys who is very active, Jermaine O'Neal, he did a great job one-on-one against Horford. Then nice help defense on the last sequence down. He protected the front of the rim. The turnover that time, we see O'Neal step out with the body and block Bibby. The turnover, one of the big concerns for Eric Spoelstra. In the 2 games, 19 in game 1, 14 in game 2. This team averaged around 12 turnovers a game during the regular season. They've got to clean that up, he felt, going into tonight's game.
The fast break points really have bothered Eric Spoelstra, and that's why the tempo is so important here. Good move by Joe Johnson against Jamario Moon, who's coming to the game, and the Hawks can't manage to convert anything inside.
This looks like the old Jermaine O'Neal. He is live and fresh tonight, and then Moon chipped it right behind him.
Wade misses, and the Hawks get it back with under 3 minutes remaining. 2 for 18 shooting. And here is Joe Johnson, and that doesn't go. Pachulia, and he finally converts. So Zaza Pachulia getting only the 3rd basket for the Hawks in this first quarter. It is still 18-6, big deficit for Atlanta, and now Eric Spoelstra wants to talk it over.
You saw Flip Murray start to take the ball to the basket. Who was he facing? Jermaine O'Neal. That's why he made the pass to the corner.
Of 7 from the field of the fourth quarter, worked their way back into it. Dallas just 1 of 6.
To Haslem.
Minutes to play. Once again, first half point. Our talk put bodies on. This is like 5 of 7 from the field. Using his body. .420 left. There's Bonner. And he is fouled. Basket so far by you.
For the Mavs.
First half, 59 seconds to play. San Antonio in possession.
Heat leading the Hawks by 12, and right now it's time for Gatorade Around the Cooler. Here is Cheryl Miller.
Well, thanks a lot, Dick. For a team that has struggled on the road, like Mike said, 16 for 25, the Hawks understand that losing game 2 and the possible consequences of giving up home court. Joe Johnson told me before the game he expected the crowd to be loud and electric. He said it was going to be absolutely critical for them to match Miami's.
Off the bench for Mike Woodson. There's a steal by Woodson, getting it right back to Split Murray. Talk about the interior defense for the Heat. They already have 5 blocked shots, and Udonis Haslem 9 rebounds as Murray hits from the baseline, and Haslem's 9 boards ties a Heat playoff record for 1 quarter. Miami by 10, under 2 minutes to play in the first.
Well, already on the floor for Miami, when I say already, there's a minute and a half to go in this first quarter. You have 3 of those players, the second unit guys, that were so critical, so vital to the win in game number 2.
Johnson knocks the ball away, and last touch by Dwayne Wade. And you're talking about Jamal McGlure, the big man who was a presence inside. And now, coming into the game for the Heat, Michael Beasley, who also was a presence as Haslem gets a hand going out. 9 rebounds for Udonis Haslem going out of the game. Daquan Cook as well. And Jamario Moon. Here's Murray off the screen hitting, so 2 in a row by Flip Murray as the Hawks try to get back in this one, trailing by 8. Wade still in the game on ABC. Coverage will begin at 12:30. Game 4, Boston, Chicago, Cleveland at Detroit as Cavaliers trying to wrap it up in a sweep. And on Monday night on NBA TV, Game 4, Denver at New Orleans at 8:30 as New Orleans wins at home and 2-1 in favor of Denver. Johnson hitting the basket, so the Hawks starting to come alive with a minute remaining in the first quarter. Joe Johnson 1 for 8. That was his first field goal, and the lead is 8 for Miami.
Dwayne Wade just missed it coming up with that steal as he shot the gap in the passing lane.
And Johnson hangs in there. Beasley firing outside, and Horford getting the rebound. So Horford, along with Bibby, Pachulia, Murray, and Pachulia misses the feed from Bibby.
We've seen Horford miss an easy one right at the rim. Pachulia that time misses an easy one.
Beasley and Pachulia getting the rebound. And a differential of about 4 seconds between the shot clock and game clock. A quick start by the Miami Heat, leading by as many as 14. Up by 8 here, and driving in. Johnson has his shot blocked. And out of bounds, it'll go back to Miami.
Nice backup coverage here as he turns the corner. Johnson on Wade. Here comes Beasley over those long arms. Good timing, clean block.
Final shot of the first quarter. Dwayne Wade finds Moon. Moon fires it up and hits a 2-point basket at the buzzer. Jamario Moon who had 8 rebounds in game number 2, giving the Miami Heat a 10-point lead, but it was their defense, 6 blocked shots. Here's how the quarter ended.
Moon just about had enough time, got a wide open look by showing the ball, putting it down a dribble, and then hits the jumper to get the crowd so excited at the end of the quarter.
Big start by the Miami Heat. Starting the second quarter here in Miami, the Heat leading the Hawks by 10, and Cheryl Miller had this conversation with Mike Woodson moments ago.
Well, Coach, you certainly didn't open the game the way you wanted to with an air ball. How do you settle your team down?
Well, we just got to settle down a little bit. We got throwing the ball away early.
A little nervous.
Yeah, a little nervous, and we just got to get them settled down and make some plays offensively. We've had some plays at the rim, but the ball didn't go. I thought a few times we got hit, but they didn't blow the whistle, but we got to keep taking it in there.
Well, Dwayne Wade got off to a quick start. Do you like the way that defensively you guys have handled him so far?
I mean, it's 22-12. I mean, we're right where we want to be from a defensive standpoint. We just got to make some shots.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach.
Hey, look, let's settle down. Calm down. We're okay. We're okay. We just got to chip away one possession at a time. We're getting some good shots at the rim. You got to keep taking. Eventually, they'll blow the whistle. Just keep playing.
And what else can you say as we start the second quarter as the Hawks held to 6 for 25 shooting? That's 24%. There you see Johnson and Smith 1 for 13. The rest of the team in a lot better shape. Here is Beasley with Chalmers, Moon, McGlure, and Daquan Cook. The fall away by Beasley, an air ball. And here come the Hawks. They have Horford out there with Mo Evans, Pachulia, Johnson, and Flip Murray.
Dick, besides the 24% shooting that you mentioned, the other thing that jumps out at me is 0 free throw attempts. Pachulia that time goes to the basket. And I was just about to say, in that first quarter, 0 attempts per quarter and a 50-30 advantage after the first 2 games for Atlanta. So highly unusual that the Hawks would go a quarter without shooting a free throw. And here they are now with their first attempts coming up.
Of course, the Heat have 6 blocks in the first quarter, which ties their playoff record for a quarter. So they played well defensively inside. And here is Zaza Pachulia, who is a double-figure, double-double performer off the bench in game number 1.
Do you think that's what Coach Woodson was talking about in the huddle, about be patient, the referees eventually will blow the whistle?
Didn't take him long, but they had to blow the whistle there.
He figured it out. No free throw attempts at the end of a quarter.
That foul was on McGlure, by the way, that sent Pachulia to the line. So it's an 8-point game, opening minute of the second quarter here at the American Airlines Arena in Miami. Miami Heat successful at home this year. 28-13. Chalmers almost lost it. Murray knocked it away. Beasley, and that was not a good offensive sequence for the Heat. They had to shoot, not a great shot, as time was running out.
No, Beasley had to get it up there. There was only a second left on the 24-second clock when he let it go.
The officials tonight, Steve Javy, David Jones, and James Capers Jr., and that will drop for Joe Johnson. So Johnson and Josh Smith, as we said, only 1 basket between them in the opening quarter. Here's pressure defensively by Atlanta.
You see Atlanta has taken their defense now and spread it out over the 94 feet after scoring, trying to force someone different to come back and handle the basketball, try to get an easy turnover.
Daquan Cook shooting over Evans, and the rebound by Pachulia. And there's the quick pass from Horford. And a steal made by Mario Chalmers. Terrific rookie year in that department. Daquan Cook, who had 6 threes, misses, and Beasley the rebound, and the Heat called for the foul. A loose ball foul, and Eric Spoelstra going to his bench. and is going to bring in James Jones, who started. That is the second personal on Jamal McGlure, who he's counting on for some tough down-low play.
Yeah, and McGlure is going to pick up fouls because he's going to put his body up against people. He's going to box out strong. He's going to try to go over people's backs for offensive rebounds. He's not worrying about getting his 6 fouls. I said in the beginning, Jermaine O'Neal looked exceptional to me.
Murray, after Chalmers tried to gamble, misses the lay-in. Tough battle underneath, and it's going to be Miami ball. Pachulia was fighting, and Beasley won that scrap. But the Hawks are on a 12-4 run, coming back after trailing by as many as 14 in the first quarter.
And you can see with Dwayne Wade on the bench how the Miami defense has really gotten into the heat. Atlanta's defense has really gotten into the heat at the offensive end of the floor. They're not getting very many open looks at all.
Evans trying to stay with Cook, fires a 3, a long rebound into the hands of Chalmers, and a new clock for Miami.
Every shot that Cook has taken thus far, there's been a hand right there on the basketball. They remember 6 for 9 from the three-point line in game number 2.
Feeling good about himself, and it was deflected by Murray, feeling good about himself after hitting those 6 three-pointers. Chalmers this time with the air ball, and Miami with some really bad three-point shot attempts. Here is Murray. That's on the money. So the Miami Heat 0 for 6 shooting this quarter, and now the Atlanta Hawks have cut the deficit to 3.
And you can see all the long jump shots. Nobody's attacking the rim. They have no presence down low. That's why Eric Spoelstra just called the timeout.
So the Miami Heat obviously feeling good about themselves, and the Atlanta Hawks making them pay. Murray with 7 points off the bench. Little more than 3 minutes gone by. Murray looking inside. Good pass to John Beasley. There to defend.
Beasley is much longer than you think he is, and he's not a leaper, but he's long and he's got great timing. He's effective 3 shots, and there he is, changing hands at the end. Goes to his right hand for the layup, Michael Beasley.
And how about in game 2 when he went strong to the hoop for key baskets in the second half for the Heat?
Well, they set up some key isolations for him, and he was able to take his man off the dribble, got that strong left-hand drive.
Here's Murray. Murray, who's been hot from the field, throws up the air ball here. He has 7 points, and the Heat coming back. Here's O'Neal, strong to the basket, and second effort, Josh Smith was hit in the face, and O'Neal never stopped going and converted, and now the Heat are up by 8.
I think everybody was shocked that there was no whistle blown. The official said, hey, the defender was straight up in the air with his arms. He didn't come down. O'Neal picks it back up and finishes it off on the second attempt. A nice late pass as you see Wade starts to go up, drops it down. Is there a foul? No? Well, let me just go back up a second time. Jermaine O'Neal.
Right now, it's all the small things right now. Set screens, cut hard, create a lead. Come on, let's start to fight back in this. Yeah, let's go. Come on. Gotta be our energy first. The details right now. It's all the small things right now. Set screens, cut hard, create a lead. Come on, let's start to fight back in this. Come on. Gotta be our energy first.
Urgency for both coaches, really. The second quarter has been a barometer thus far in the series. In game number one, the Hawks had a 29-12 run to end the second, outscoring the Heat 35-18. And then on Wednesday night, Dwayne Wade scored the last 13 as Miami outscored Atlanta 30-23. So the second quarter has been key. Josh Smith, who still has not scored and doesn't have a rebound in this game, continues his problems as Horford working against Haslam, and the rebound by Wade.
Haslam's a pretty strong guy. Remember, when he played, in college, he was 50 pounds heavier than he is right now. So when you go to back into him, you're hitting a solid wall.
But it looks like Wade is getting to the line like he has not in the first two games. This is the three, and Murray will bring it up. In fact, Dwayne Wade has all 4 of the free throw attempts by the Heat thus far. 8-point lead by Miami. They've scored the last 6 points of this game. 5:20 to go in the half. Joe Johnson in the lane. And that's there for the athletic-minded Hawks all the time, it appears.
You see, when you reverse the basketball and get it out of the initial defense of Miami, then you're going to have some seams and open. What they've done now is take Joe Johnson away from the ball, and then they eventually get it back to him on the second or third pass. Then he attacks.
And a blocking foul called against the Hawks, and it will be the first against Josh Smith.
You see, Joe Johnson's away right now, but on the skip pass, now as the defense closes out, Johnson has the ability to catch, sweep, go through, one dribble, and shoot.
Mario Chalmers has re-entered the game, replacing Daquan Cook. Chalmers with 7 points. Second leading scorer right now for the Heat. Cook has yet to score. Jermaine O'Neal with the jumper. O'Neal off to another energized start, has 6 in the first half.
That time they came much harder on Jermaine O'Neal. He turned away from the double team, and that's how he was able to get his shot off.
So the Heat up by 8 after the Hawks had narrowed it to 2 points, kicked away, but last touch by the Heat with 11 on the shot clock.
Watch Jermaine O'Neal now. He'll turn to his right shoulder. He sees the double team coming all of a sudden. Double's coming. Nope, pulls it away. Comes back the other way so that the double guy can't get to him.
Wade blanketing Joe Johnson. Johnson goes baseline and beats Dwayne Wade that way. So 8 points for Johnson. He is the Hawks' leading scorer.
You saw Jermaine O'Neal look right over to Eric Spoelstra, and he said kind of got caught between 2 guys. He didn't know whether to rotate and try and block the shot or keep his body on the big man on the weak side.
Here is Smith trying to push Jermaine O'Neal far as he can away from the basket, and O'Neal getting up and drawing the foul nicely. So that will be the second foul on Josh Smith, off to a slow start in this game, and Jermaine O'Neal will go to the line with 4:05 remaining in the half.
As you see the growth and development of Josh Smith, eventually he's going to get past the point where he gets angry when the game doesn't come to him early on. He's got to fight his way through that, maintain his control, don't complain. That's what happened in game 2. He got bent out of shape by a lack of calls he felt against him.
He was 7 of 8 from the line in that game and hits this one. Nathan Ford and his team are back in TNT's Smash Hit Leverage. Don't miss the new season premiere this July, only on TNT. O'Neal hitting both of his free throws, and thus far the Heat 6 for 6 from the line. Miami by 8, 4 minutes remaining in the first half. 1-1 in this best-of-7 series as the Hawks squandered home court advantage by losing game 2. Stealed by Dwayne Wade. 3-on-2 right here. Wade goes to Jones, and this is the 3, and it goes through! Talk about a home court win. Bibby coming back with a field goal.
I haven't seen many bounces like that where it hits the rim, goes up on top of the backboard, and comes back through for a 3.
Long, long time ago, Golden State's coach Don Nelson hit one like that in a crucial deciding championship playoff game for the Celtics against the Lakers. And Wade with the turnaround now has 11 as the points are coming furiously now. Miami again in double-digit leading, 40-29, 3 minutes to go. They withstood that big run by the Hawks here in the second quarter. Crawford, Pachulia foul. Pachulia will go to the line with 2:48 remaining. Neither team is over the limit.
Nice job of interior passing that time. Good patience that time by Horford. A little high-low pass, but sometimes it's good fortune rather than good shooting that helps your team out. Rim, wow, backboard, net.
Can he do it again? That's what I want to know.
First last year, and I dedicated myself to the gym to really, building my body for this moment. These moments is what I live for and what I play for. It's a great rap, but now this is what we play for.
Wade will fire off balance and it backhanded. The bank shot by Wade.
This season was a great rap, but now this is what we play for.
Wade will fire. Balance. And it backhanded. The bank shot by Wade. And you can talk about winning the scoring title, which he did this year. 5 All-Star games, being part of the gold medal team in Beijing. This is really what he lives for. And look at that, 18-1 when Wade scores 30 or more points in the playoffs for the Heat.
You know what's great? He is on such a line of communication with his head coach, Eric Spoelstra. When we talked to Spoelstra about how do you get the message across to the team that, splitting up in Atlanta doesn't mean anything if you come back home and lose here. He said, I relied on Dwayne Wade to get that message across. He said, I zap him a text. He gets it, zaps me back, says, gotcha, and then he winds up delivering the message. So when you got your best player and head coach with that kind of communication, that's good. That's a good thing.
And he returns the text immediately. He doesn't waste much time. So you know what he's all about. Here's Wade. 13 points for Dwayne Wade. And the Miami Heat leading 42-29 with under 2.5 to play in the first half. The Heat, last time they were in the playoffs, swept by the Bulls in 2007 in 4 straight. Didn't get in last year. 28-game improvement. And trying to get by this first round against the number 4 seed. 4 on the shot clock. And there is Murray forcing the shot. And it goes back to Miami.
That was the guy who was number 3 in the NBA in the defensive voting, Dwayne Wade, who just put the clamps on Murray that time and forced an air ball shot at him. Remember, top 3 defenders, okay, in the league. Howard, LeBron James, 2, and Dwayne Wade, number 3.
Less than 2 minutes to go in the half. The Heat have outscored the Hawks 9-2. And they're going to call Pachulia with the foul. And that will be the 4th team foul. And of course, first in the last 2 minutes. Next one will result in the penalties. Maurice Evans, who started the game with Marvin Williams out day-to-day with a sprained wrist, is into the lineup now. O'Neal guarded by Pachulia. Johnson trying to help, and O'Neal hits. O'Neal now with 10 points in the game on 4 for 7 shooting, has 5 rebounds as well, and the Miami Heat, dominating the Hawks in the front court, have opened up their biggest lead of the game.
It's the same play that they used in Atlanta in Game 2 that got Jermaine O'Neal 19 points.
Tonight, to the delight of Dwayne Wade, Joe Johnson. Double team, Chalmers gets his hand on it. Johnson gets it back. Nearly 35 seconds remaining in the first half. What an explosion by the Heat down the stretch. Bibby and Wade into the hands of Chalmers. Under a half a minute remaining, 18 in the shot clock. Listen to the crowd. Two on the shot clock. Wade for 3.
This almost looks like a replay of the shot he made the other night. Exactly the same spot. The difference is the other night he backed it off the backboard in game number 2. This time, straight in.
19 points for Dwayne Wade on a 17-2 blast to end the second quarter. Let's go over to Cheryl Miller.
Well, thanks a lot, Dick. Just talk about, Jermaine, the connection that you and D-Wade had. Even since Game 2, you guys seem to be on a different page.
No, we've been talking a lot. Yeah, I think the whole team has been talking a lot. I think the coaching staff did a great job since Game 1, both practices between Game 1 and Game 2. And yesterday, just having the team focus in. And I think the players are doing a great job of communicating with each other and talking our way through everything.
We spoke yesterday. You played with some great and very talented players, but talk about how special he is, especially when he gets on the roll.
I tell you, I've had some great teammates. Your brother was one of the best, best in my life, but D Wade is kind of at another level right now. He's playing out of this world. He's our MVP. He's the guy that sets the table for everything, and we're gonna feed off what he does every single night.
All right, thanks so much, Jermaine.
All right,
coming back after this break, we'll be sending it down to our Atlanta studios for the T-Mobile halftime report with Ernie Kinney and Sir Charles. Our score here at halftime: Miami 50, Atlanta 29.
Welcome you back to Miami. Key Biscayne and the Miami Heat came out with a world of energy, led by as many as 14, and then the Hawks came alive, and they narrowed the deficit to 1 point. It's 50-29 right now, but that second quarter, again, could be the crucial quarter in this game, as it has been for the series, as the Heat outscored the Hawks by 11 in a 17-2 big finish got the crowd out of his feet with Wade leading the way.
If you're Miami right now, you're looking at the defensive end of the floor, and we saw it early on. They were very live, very aggressive. They hold them just 12 and 17 points for the first 2 quarters.
And, of course, Dwayne Wade, and he had some help, didn't he?
Yeah, Dwayne Wade feeding O'Neal in the low post, and Jermaine O'Neal a little bit of a fadeaway. He's got a little size on Horford down low. A late pass on the dump down, and Wade is consistently looking to try and find O'Neal in the right position to make him a scorer. He has a good face-up jump shot, so he turns and swings in. And now reciprocate the favor, finds Dwayne Wade cutting down the lane for the finish. Think about this. Wade combined with O'Neal, 29 points. Atlanta, 29 points. I think a few years back there was another combination of Wade and another O'Neal, wasn't there?
You have a great sense of history, Mike. There's no question about it. Anyway, here's our game summary brought to you by Dos Equis. And 31% shooting by Atlanta, only 1 3-point basket. So Miami started cold from 3 and then picked it up. And they have yet to miss a free throw. And Dwayne Wade with 19 points, and that was his total in game number 1, 19 points. And his team is home, and you got to remember the comment that Al Horford said, you know, on the road, when teams get momentum going, we tend to get a little down. You can underscore that.
Well, Atlanta averaged 25 free throws for the first 2 playoff games. They have just 4 attempts, 2 for 4 right now in game number 3 here.
Here is O'Neal working his way in and gets the roll. So O'Neal now with 12 points on 5 for 8 shooting. And it's 52-29. The Heat leading the Hawks. And it'll be very interesting to see the way the Hawks respond here in this third quarter. Horford with Johnson, Bibby, Josh Smith, who is yet to score, and Maurice Evans, who's starting in place of Marvin Williams, who's injured with a bad wrist. And Evans hits the baseline basket.
Nice job. You saw Miami decide to double team Joe Johnson. Even though he was a step above the foul line, they were getting the ball out of his hands. They do not want him to get going.
Evans' first points of the game. Josh Smith still looking for his. Meanwhile, it's Horford against O'Neal again with the fall away. And 2 for 2 to start this third quarter is Jermaine O'Neal, who is now 6 for 9 from the field. So the Heat going to the big guy, and he has responded now for the second straight game.
And he had 9 field goal attempts in game number 2 when he had his big game of 19 points. Already, he has the same number now in game number 3.
And Josh Smith misses the shot. He is really having a rough time. 0 for 7 from the field, no rebounds after leading his team in game 1 with 23. And let's check in with Cheryl Miller.
Well, Dick, when Coach Woodson saw me, he said the first thing out of his mouth was, Cheryl, that was a bad half. I said, well, Coach, what do you say to your players? He goes, well, you can't jump on them because, like you said, Dick, you don't want them to get down and start pressing on themselves. But, Mike, you said something before the end of the first half about Coach Spoelstra and Dwayne Wade's relationship, and if there was a message to be sent, he would get it across. Who do the Hawks have that vocal leader in the locker room?
Good question, Cheryl.
Well, you would think that based on his performance and ability to play as an all-star, you'd think it's Joe Johnson. But the guy right there, Mike Bibby, has been around a long time, been in a lot of big games along the way. But problem is he's kind of a quiet guy. I don't know if he's going to step up in the locker room and tell his teammates, look, we got to turn this thing around with more effort or whatever it might be.
Mike Woodson with a great interview with John Thompson in our pregame show this afternoon before the Dallas-San Antonio game. And there is O'Neal missing from the baseline, and he talked about how in 5 years he has seen his team grown together, but you always need that leader or leaders in the dressing room. Johnson getting his own rebound, tries to get it out, is picked off by Chalmers. Here is Wade ahead of the game, and Bibby with a very smart block in the middle of the floor because Wade was headed to the hoop.
Okay, Dick, going back to Cheryl's point real quick, you know, sometimes as a coach, you don't have that vocal person. And that's where you find those coaches tend to be more vocal.
So DeMario Moon is not going to be back. Meanwhile, a three-pointer by Evans, the second three-point basket of the game for the Hawks, trailing by 20.
Moon, an important piece to lose in game number 2. He was their energy guy. He was their leading rebounder with 8 offensive rebounds.
Wow. Wade telling David Jones he was hit on the wrist.
He wanted 4 out of that. He wasn't satisfied with 3.
Dwayne Wade 3 for 5 from 3 and 24 points in the game. Kind of has taken over this game. Bibby. It doesn't drop, and the rebound by Haslam. So a 59-36 Miami Heat lead. Nearly 4 minutes gone by in this third quarter. And there is Haslam. Long rebound, and Josh Smith looking for something in this game. Feeds Evans, and a deflection, and I believe that was James Jones that might have got a piece of it. Haslam was also involved in the play. The Heat had 7 blocked shots in the first half. And there is Evans against Wade. Is he feeling it or what? And look at the Miami bench. That's Moon and his reaction. 4 3-point baskets, 27 for Dwayne Wade. And we have plenty to go in this one.
I think Mike Bibby thought there was going to be a timeout. He stayed all the way in the backcourt as Joe Johnson brought it down the court. Then he realized there was no timeout being called.
Horford is fouled by Haslam. And the Miami Heat destroying the Atlanta Hawks to the tune of 62-36.
Well, as we saw Jermaine O'Neal say, the level that Wade is playing at right now is something special. He has so much confidence going, and after winning game number 2, this Miami Heat team will just continue to build more and more confidence. It's going to make it so difficult for Atlanta to come back and win the next game if they drop this one.
Horford hits his first free throw. Remember what Mike Woodson said, the Atlanta Hawks won game 1, holding the Heat to 64. Very proud of his team's defense. But they were shredded for 108 points in the second game and have already given up 62 points. And we have more than halfway remaining in this third quarter. Wade tries to get it into O'Neal, and it's picked off by Evans. Double team on Joe Johnson. Smith for 3. Finally gets a point. So Josh Smith with his first field goal of the game. That's a 3-pointer. And it took 29 minutes for Smith to do it. Haslam. Udonis Haslam. And he has 6 in the game.
During the regular season, Josh Smith averaged just under 16 points per game. And just struggling and struggling these last 2 games to find how he's going to get involved in this game offensively. Sometimes it's offensive rebounds, running the floor, and now perhaps he's starting to feel it 2 straight for Josh Smith.
And 5 points in those last 2 shots, Mike. So the Atlanta Hawks, who fought hard to get the number 4 seed in a home court edge in the first round of the playoffs, have lost that, and trying to get back to respectability in this third game. Here's Dwayne Wade, lost it. Haslam backs it in. Everything working for Miami tonight.
Yeah, when the ball falls, it doesn't fall into the Hawks' hands, it falls into another one of the Miami Heat players' hands.
23-point lead for the Heat. Wade defending against Joe Johnson. Stays with him. 7 on the clock. Johnson, pretty play. Joe Johnson now, 10 points and the first Hawk to get into double figures, and Eric Spoelstra will call the timeout.
What we saw that time was Joe Johnson work around 4 different white jerseys before he finally found an opening. They were determined not to let him get a clean look. He worked a little bit harder than they did to get that score.
This year, the true value of MVP was to take a young team and pretty much put them in a position all year to be in the playoff, not only in the playoff seedings, but to be able to have the ability to move up late in the season. And he's carried the team. He's really carried the team. And obviously, you know, LeBron and Kobe have very good teams, but he really had a young team, and nobody really picked those guys to do much at all, this year. And he's kind of ruled his way with this team.
Dwayne Wade, who hit 5 in a row to break open game 2 and now has hit 7 in a row tonight. And remember, when Dwayne Wade has 30 or more points, the Heat are 18-1 in the playoffs, and Wade right now with 27. Chalmers and Wade, along with O'Neal, Jones, and Haslam. Chalmers. 3-point attempt misses, and Smith clearing for the Hawks.
I think you mentioned early on, because of the injury to Marvin Williams, what's happened is Evans, and what a tough basket that time by Josh Smith. Took the contact, wound that thing up from down below his hip, and still banked it in and goes to the line for 3. But because Williams is out, Evans has had to step into the starting lineup, and you'll see a little bounce pass and the finish inside by Josh Smith. Good concentration. But right now, because of that, Evans moving up into the starting lineup. Mike Whitson's gone with only 7 players tonight in his rotation. Now, we thought A.C. Law was going to see a little bit of action tonight, and then perhaps Solomon Jones or Gardner, but thus far he's gone with 7 players.
Smith misses the free throw. He has 7 points, though, in 2 minutes. And you mentioned Maurice Evans. He started 25 games this year for the Hawks, who were 18-7 in the games that he started. So he has been around and he has playoff experience, but they are thin in the bench. 4 on the shot clock. Chalmers fouled by Josh Smith before the shot.
Bad foul right there. Shot clock was down at 3 when the foul was committed.
That is the 3rd foul on Josh Smith. By the way, Jermaine O'Neal also has 3 as he fouled Smith on the last time down the court for Atlanta. Steal by Josh Smith. And steps out of bounds, so the Heat get it back.
A couple of fans ran out, Dick, with the basketball, so we're going to have to find another one. They just ran up the steps out of the building, didn't want to give it back.
It's grab a basketball night here in game 3. 3-point attempt by Wade, and here's Bibby bringing it up. Bibby right now with 8 points on 4 for 9 shooting. Horford. Hey, the Heat defense has been terrific tonight. Bibby off the glass doesn't go, but Horford cleans up. Al Horford, who now has 8 points. 17-point lead for the Miami Heat. They were up by as many as 26. So once again, the Heat taking advantage of second chances.
Yeah, and this is exactly what Mike Woodson, I'm sure, has been preaching to the team, that be patient, take your time. We just need to cut into this thing so that by the end of the 3rd quarter, we may be down, but let's be down a more, manageable point total so we have a shot in the 4th quarter to come back and take this thing.
Good job by Horford against O'Neal. And a loose ball foul committed by Udonis Haslam.
Well, we saw early on the Atlanta defense really affect Miami's offense, and now once again, as they started to chip away and work their way back into this game, the defense taking over for Atlanta. Now can they score against Miami's defense?
Chalmers sits down, and Daquan Cook comes back into the game for the Heat. 3:45 remaining, 3rd quarter. Evans for 3, and he hits. Evans with his 2nd 3-point field goal. And the Hawks have scored 9 straight points to cut the deficit to 14. Here's Wade. Wade off the glass. Had hit 7 in a row before that miss. Here is Josh Smith. Johnson will go for 3. And that would have been a big 3 for the Atlanta Hawks had he hit it, Mike, to really turn it into an 11-point game.
Let's go back one play, and you'll watch now as we let this thing roll forward here. Joe Johnson with the basketball. Bibby setting the screen, a 1-2 pick and roll. And then the big man, Horford, sets the next screen to try and free him up right there. So you've got a 1-2 screen and the 5-man coming up next to it. But it's the offside of the floor, Evans, who hits the 3.
Cook doesn't make it. Fight for the rebound. And great Miami hustle with Jermaine O'Neal underneath. And the crowd will appreciate his hustle. Here's a guy that was not a factor at all. Took only 5 shots in the first game of this series. Has been a huge factor since then. And Josh Smith has just picked up his 4th foul.
Crashing the offensive boards, give yourself second chance opportunities. Jermaine O'Neal, a couple pump fakes to get Smith up in the air. Smith committing the foul as he tries to strip him.
Fourth personal on Josh Smith. The national coverage of the NBA playoffs will continue tonight. Lakers and Utah. Utah winning at home, so it's 2-1, Game 4 on ESPN. And tomorrow, coverage will begin at 12:30. It'll be the Celtics and the Bulls, followed by the Cavaliers trying to sweep the Pistons. And Monday night on NBA TV, it'll be the Nuggets against New Orleans. New Orleans getting back into it with a victory over Denver today. So Josh Smith with 4 fouls to the bench, and Zaza Pachulia. Miami has not missed a free throw tonight. 9 for 9 and a 16-point lead.
Well, with as physical as these two teams have been combined, they've shot just 16 free throws in this game.
Horford blocked by O'Neal. Jermaine O'Neal with his 3rd block shot of the game and the 9th for the Miami Heat. Here is Wade. Great pass to O'Neal, fouled by Horford. And Horford was not going to allow him to get the 3-point play, but he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Well, Horford feeling the effects of Jermaine O'Neal just being a little bit taller, a little bit longer, and he's been a terrific shot blocker for years in the NBA.
The Heat leading 68-52. Jermaine O'Neal, who was acquired from Toronto on February 13th in the trade that sent Sean Marion to Toronto. 13-year veteran, only 30 years of age. This is his 11th year in the postseason, and was with Portland and the Pacers, who lost to Detroit in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2004. And the question has always been his health, and the Heat needed to get somebody big. Certainly help their salary cap situation for the future.
You know, you tend to forget that when he came into the league, and this was part of the discussion about our guys coming into the league too early, he sat for 3 straight years, okay, and got very little, if any, playing time. Portland was a team that was fighting, you know, for an NBA championship. He was an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, so they couldn't play him. And he complained and said, look, if you're not going to play me, trade me. So finally, it was 4 years before you saw, you know, the ability that Jermaine O'Neal started to have, you know, but he spent a lot of time just practicing and not playing.
Kind of a late bloomer, if you will. Only 5 points in game number 1, responded with 19 on Wednesday, and has 18 so far tonight with nearly 2.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Miami Heat up by 18 points. Their biggest lead has been 26. Double team on Joe Johnson, and pushing the Atlanta offense farther out. Here's Bibby, 6 on the shot clock. Horford in the lane, tough there.
Nice job that time. Atlanta read the defense perfectly. Joe Johnson took the double team on, then swung the ball out of the double team. They wound up finding the open man with the 3rd pass.
So Horford and Johnson each with 10 to lead Atlanta, and Dwayne Wade. This is the shot under 2 minutes remaining. Here's Flip Murray, and he misses. Murray tonight has hit a 1 of 4 3-point field goals for the Hawks. 70-54. Miami Heat trying to take a 2-1 lead here at home in the best-of-7 first-round matchup, and traveling called against Beasley, who's just come into the game. And Jamal McLaurin, who had a couple of fouls early in the first half, returned to hand as he goes to the bench. Well deserved. 18 points and 9 off the glass for Jermaine O'Neal. And they're going to call McGlure with his third foul as he bumps Bibby on the perimeter.
Well, he just shoved a little forearm into him because he was worried maybe perhaps they hadn't remembered him from the first half. So let me give a quick shot here so they remember I'm back on the floor.
So Bibby will be on the free throw line. 5 team fouls against the Heat. Well, get the family together for the new season premiere of Tyler Perry, The Brown. Only on TBS. Bibby makes them both. And the lead is 14. So the Hawks coming back and have shaved to this point 2 points off the halftime lead of the Heat. Here's James Jones with another three. That's his third of the game. James Jones, who got the starting nod, and now they rule a 2-point field goal. His foot was on the line. Pachulia at the other end has it blocked by Wade. How about Dwayne Wade? First player in NBA history, 6'4" or under, with 100 blocks and 100 steals in the same season. Bibby with a three from the corner, and that is his first 3-point field goal. 13 points to lead Atlanta. 13-point lead for the Heat.
Atlanta's got a chance to get this thing around 10, which is very manageable with a full 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. They need to stop here before they can get back down the other end.
And Wade doing everything he can to add to the lead, and it's knocked away. Last touch by Atlanta with 7 on the shot clock.
Dwayne Wade is like the center fielder, away from the basketball. He times it perfectly, comes flying in, anticipating when Pachulia is going to turn and shoot it.
This could be a critical possession here, and Wade misses a three at the buzzer as it rimmed the basket, and Atlanta trying to make the most of things. Under a half a minute remaining here in this third quarter. They're within range, and Murray feeding Horford with the field goal, and it's down to 11 now, 72-61. And Miami will be playing for the last shot.
When you're 26 points down at one point, and then you look up and you find yourself just 11 points behind, you know you have a full quarter to go. This is going to be a real good huddle for Atlanta when this quarter ends.
Trying to see if they can come back from the huge deficit here. And there is Jones coming back with another three. James Jones now with 11 points. 9 of them coming on 3-point baskets. And that will do it. That was a huge basket for the Heat. You talk about going into the huddle to end the third quarter as Miami now leads again by 14.
Yeah, Mike Butch is still going to play on the fact that they've chipped away 11 points off that 26-point lead. They've gotten it down to where they're right there close to 10. They've got a chance in the fourth quarter.
75-61 Miami. Game 3 with the series all even at 1.
At one point, it looked like you guys were going to run away with it. How were they able to claw back into this game?
Well, they don't go away. You know, we got to still be aggressive down there and not settle for jump shots and continue to defend and rebound.
It wasn't a 3-point barrage we've seen in game 2, but do you like the balanced scoring that you've seen so far in the 3 quarters?
It was good for a while, and then we started settling for some jumpers. We need to continue to be aggressive.
All right, does Jermaine O'Neal kind of reminiscent of the other O'Neal?
I hope so. He brings us a good presence down in the paint.
Thanks, Coach.
Settling for some jumpers. We need to continue to be aggressive.
Is Jermaine O'Neal kind of reminiscent of the other O'Neal?
I hope so. He brings us a good presence down in the paint.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you, Cheryl. And Bibby with the air ball on the 3-point attempt as we start the fourth quarter. You know, you look at the playing time of the Atlanta Hawks. They have used 2 men, and you pointed that out earlier off the bench. They played 16 minutes apiece. So this is an Iron Man effort. And you wonder what it's going to be like down the stretch if they're going to make an effort to cut this deficit.
Well, they had a pretty good roll there. That was a huge three-point shot as far as Miami's concerned. The one that Jones hit right at the end before they went back into the huddle. Now, Chalmers hits another big three. It's one of those things with Miami. They know they have to space the floor. They know they have to make threes if they're going to win basketball games because of how the defenses try to stop Wade.
Horford is fouled. The lead is 17 now. Remember, in Game 1, the Miami Heat shot 17% from three-point range. In the last 2 games, they're close to 60% three-point shooting.
Well, it's easy. The coach right there went back and said to them, guys, we got to make those three-pointers. And they went out there, okay, coach. You know, he said, you mentioned the youngest head coach in the NBA, Eric Spoelstra. He's had 2 pretty good teachers in front of him, Pat Riley and Stan Van Gundy. He spent 14 years, in the organization, and this guy's done it all. He's walked and worked his way all the way up the ladder to the point now where Pat Riley entrusted him with the franchise as his head coach.
No question, Mike. Handpicked by Pat Riley, and I asked Eric Spoelstra before Game 1, what advice did Pat Riley give him? He said, go with your instincts.
You can be as prepared, and this man is as prepared as you're going to be, and the players are prepared. And there's the guy that he learned so much from, Pat Riley, who is now just in the front office as the president of the Miami Heat. But a great teacher, obviously. Spoelstra as prepared as they're going to be, but when it gets to certain situations, you just got to feel it in your gut and go with it.
Horford 1 out of 2. Heat by 16. First minute of the 4th quarter here in Game 3. Here is Beasley. In and out, and the rebound by McGlure, and then the foul is called. Flip Murray.
27, Pachulia. His third, team first.
Pachulia will be called for his 3rd personal foul. Chalmers with Cook, Beasley, Wade, McGlure. Wade leaves it for Chalmers. 3-point attempt. And Wade gives the Heat a new possession. Dwayne Wade in this game has scored 27 points. Has 4 rebounds, 5 assists. And McGlure to Cook for 3. Way off the mark. Wade tipped up and in by Chalmers. Let's see. Or, yes, it was Chalmers on the tip.
What a great effort that time. That trip down the floor by Dwayne Wade. Remember, he came up with the first second shot opportunity. They work him back around again. At one point, he's just lofting the ball up on the glass, hoping one of his teammates will wind up securing it.
Taking the ball away, and they're going to call Joe Johnson for tripping Chalmers, who got the ball away from Johnson.
Now remember, Dwayne Wade has played 34 minutes on the floor already in this game, so he starts it out by trying to make a most difficult shot against 2 defenders, and then as the ball is secured by McGlure, Cook winds up taking a shot that almost goes behind the backboard, but then who comes up with it again? Dwayne Wade, and he gets another shot up on the glass. Eventually he gives Chalmers a chance to tip it in. So the energy, hustle, and effort by the leader, Dwayne Wade.
Chalmers has 12 points. O'Neal 18 and Jones 11 in support of Wade's 27. Here is Daquan Cook. Pachulia looks like they may stop this fight with Pachulia in the ring with his right eye all swollen, and a timeout called by Atlanta. Here's Cook's first points of the game, Mike.
Yeah, this is the same Cook who had hit 6 of 9 three-pointers back in game number 2. He gets a good look, and he almost shows a sign of relief as he's coming down the floor. Like, I finally got it going.
By both Dwayne Wade and Daquan.
Well, yeah, it's the first time in playoff history that 2 players from the same team have made 6 three-pointers in a game, and they were coming from all over the place. Atlanta didn't know what had hit them from behind the three-point line. Sometimes it's a little luck. Sometimes it's just one of those nights where you're feeling it, and you got a lot of guys feeling it that night.
And tonight, Pat Riley's team, as the president, looking on intently, never satisfied, and is a 21-point lead again. And Murray has it slapped away, and it's going to still be Atlanta ball. The Hawks made a run after a great start by the Heat to cut it to 1 point in the second quarter. 17-2 finish took care of that, and then Atlanta got to within 11 late in the third, but Miami's on an 11-1 run right now, thanks to three-pointers by James Jones, Mario Chalmers, and Daquan Cook. So the threes, as you pointed out, what they did in game 2, coming up big again here.
Well, when McClure comes down with those elbows out there, all the white jerseys are running away. They didn't want to get hit by it.
Wade! What a move for Dwayne Wade. 29 points. And it's a 23-point game again. And you really wonder what Atlanta has left. Now, here's Josh Smith, has it blocked inside. And the Heat coming back. Ball lost off of the board deflection. No block shot. 3.5 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Here is Chalmers. McClure edged out by Josh Smith. Trying to go the distance. Foul. And Chalmers will pick up his 4th personal foul.
Watch this finish by Dwayne Wade. The crossover, the big, long dribble at the end, and then his ability to get up above everyone else and finish above the rim. I don't know if I get that far in one dribble. Do you get?
Well, I think, well,
no, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. Smith with the free throw. And Pachulia, who got hit in the right eye, quite a mouse there, comes back into the game, replacing Crawford, who goes out with 13 points. Cheryl.
Well, Mike, you were talking about being able to get to the rim or not, but you could get to the rim without a dribble. But it'd be illegal, wouldn't it?
That's great.
Slightly.
So I'm not sure I could ever make it to the rim. You know what I mean? I get in the vicinity, but getting up that high.
Wait, Mike, back in the day, I heard you had some hops.
Yeah, a little hop.
Just not on the court.
Daquan Cook missing the three. Beasley with the offensive rebound. Blocked inside by Pachulia and Evans, and it'll go over to Atlanta. Depends on how high the rim is, wouldn't you think? I mean, does it have to be 10 feet?
I have no chance. Don't worry about it. No chance.
We know that. 4 minutes gone by in the fourth. Game 4 will be Monday night here at the American Airlines Arena. Pachulia gets a good pass down low. Fighting inside is Josh Smith. Wild shot. 21-point lead for the Miami Heat. Wade. And plenty of time on the shot clock. Wade tonight has 4 block shots. Chalmers is open for 3, and he's done it. Mario Chalmers with his 3rd from beyond the arc. And the lead is 24, and the Heat very close to matching their biggest lead of the game. Look at the Heat, 11 of 22 from the field. Murray trying to beat Smith, and he is fouled going to the hoop.
You're going to have every Atlanta Hawks player gun-shy to go to the rim and shoot the ball because Wade is coming from everywhere. He's going to drop out of the ceiling next to block the shot. We see Josh Smith right there may have twisted his side a little bit, but as Flip Murray turns the corner, first rotation is by Beasley, and then there's Dwayne Wade from behind.
First foul on Wade, and he got his money's worth. How about the Miami Heat setting a franchise record with 15 threes in game number 2? And right now, the Heat in 3-point baskets have 11. Speaking of 11, the Heat have 11 blocks tonight.
Well, defense preventing the opponent from getting to the front of the rim where they get easy looks at the basket, and the blocks mean that they're not getting free throw attempts. So you've got low field goal percentage for the opponent and very few free throws. This is a team that was averaging 25 free throw attempts per game after the first 2 games.
Did I say 11?
You did.
Add one and make it a record, playoff record.
Well, yeah.
Smith now with 11 points. Stuck on that number. 22-point Miami Heat lead. 7 minutes remaining in the fourth. Here's Wade. Haslam from the baseline. Udonis Haslam in double figures. 5 Miami Heat players are in double figures as Pachulia is fouled. And again, he's had a rough night. He's a big guy and he is taking his blows.
Well, Miami is determined not to let Atlanta get to the front of the rim and finish with dunks. They rotate quickly, they go up, and then when they commit a foul, they take hard fouls, so you're not going to get the ball in the basket and make three-point plays.
Foul on Cook. The NBA playoffs on TNT continue tomorrow. Game 4, the Magic against the Sixers, and Philadelphia leading in a big surprise 2-1. And then Game 4 with the Rockets leading the Trailblazers. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. Eastern time on TNT. And Pachulia makes the free throws. And you know, a long time ago I was with CBS doing the NBA, and TNT was doing playoffs. And I'll tell you what, TNT's had an incredible run, 25 years or more, covering NBA playoffs in superb fashion. 6 on the shot clock. Here's Wade. Lost it trying to go baseline. Nearly halfway through the fourth quarter, 22-point lead for Miami. They'll get it again. 3-on-2 now with Haslam coming in, but Chalmers in no hurry. 5 Heat starters in double figures tonight, led by Dwayne Wade with 29. Here's Cook for 3. Yes! Cook with his second three-point basket. So you have Wade with 4, James Jones and Chalmers with 3, and Cook with 2. And Murray trying to get inside to no avail. 25-point lead under 5.5 minutes to go. And here's Daquan Cook. O'Neal has come into the game with a short jump. Thank you very much. Comes in, right place, right time. 20 for Jermaine O'Neal.
Timing is everything. Be in that right spot. Wind up with a 5-foot jumper and knock it down.
Timeout. Listen to this crowd. The Heat have opened up their biggest lead of the game. 27 points.
The Atlanta Hawks care about the community. The Hawks, led by Mo Evans, Mike Bibby, and Randolph Morris, recently spent an afternoon off the court and in the great outdoors when they joined local volunteers for a tree planting event to spruce up an Atlantic Park. The NBA, where caring happens. Guys?
All right, Cheryl, thank you very much. A forlorn Atlanta Hawk bench with their team down by the largest margin right now, 27 points. In the last 7 minutes, Miami has hit 5 threes and a 23-7 run. Josh Smith comes back with a basket. It's a 25-point game, 4:45 remaining.
I'd like to see Josh Smith get himself down in the low post a little bit more. High percentage shots, opportunity to get to the free throw line, and then he could open up the perimeter for his teammates by forcing double teams eventually.
O'Neal against Pachulia with 4 on the shot clock and the personal foul. So O'Neal with 20 points, having his best scoring game of this series. There is the story in the fourth quarter, the 8 3-pointers by the Heat, 4 I should say, and 8 for 17 shooting. Only 1 basket by Atlanta. And you look at the look on Eric Spoelstra. Well, he got a little smile there. It looked like he was on the short end of this game.
You know, Dick, I got a little smile when I watched Mike Bibby with that pick in his hand. He didn't look like he had a lot of experience digging big holes there as he was trying to help out in that care package.
Mario Chalmers with 15, having his best scoring game of the series. How about Jermaine O'Neal? Huge double-double tonight. 8 for 8 from the free throw line. The Miami Heat have not missed a free throw tonight. 13 of 13. Again with a 27-point lead. Here's Pachulia. And the rebound, Haslam. Well, I'm waiting to see whether Wade gets that 30 points. You know, we talked about 18-1 in the Heat playoff record. When Dwayne Wade scores 30 or more, he's got 29 right now. He's keeping us on the edge of our seats.
Well, he's not going to be in there much longer because Eric Spoelstra is thinking about the next game.
Inside Wade. That's Wade for you. He could have gone up. He fed Haslam for the basket, but he took the assist instead. Wade has 8 assists tonight. And Pachulia going strong to the basket. 29-point lead as the Miami Heat continue to build on it, and Wade is done for the evening. Dwayne Wade will lead the game, having scored 29 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, and 4 blocked shots.
So it may not move that number to 19-1, Dick. It stays at 18-1, but
we say 18 and a half.
I think we understand the meaning of the fact when he's on a roll and having a big game come playoff time, his Miami Heat teams have a pretty good chance for success.
Mario West will come into the game, as well as Solomon Jones, as Evans leads. So does Josh Smith. Josh Smith, leading the game, scored 13 points on 4 for 14 shooting. Did have 8 rebounds. Pachulia hits the free throw, so it's 99-72. And Haslam also leads for Miami. He had another double-double, 12 points, 13 rebounds, and with 3.5 minutes to go, and there you see Chris Quinn coming in. Joel Anthony as well, as both teams going to deep into their benches as Quinn is fouled. And I think, you know, we can't be too early in talking about the mindset of the Atlanta Hawks going into game number 4 here after a stunning defeat.
Well, you know, Mike Woodson, their head coach, is thinking about right now. He's thinking about, what am I going to say when I go in that locker room? Because it's a fine line, whether you talk to them one way versus another. You build the team up and try to get them ready for the next game. Understand this one's over and done. It's behind us. Our job is to come back and win the next one, even the series back up again. You come after them hard, and the coaches know their team, how they respond to how you come after them. So that's what's in Mike Woodson's mind right now. When I go in that locker room, this might be the most important talk of the season that I give this team.
They could be in danger. They would be in danger if they lost on Monday of falling behind 3-1. So forget about having home court advantage. Survival now is number 1 on the list for Woodson as Quinn hits the free throws. Now, as far as Miami, you'd have to say that after game number 1, they are brimming with confidence, and there are a lot of players you can talk about in that category.
Without question, that day after we see the steal and Quinn on a little bit of a breakaway on his own, that long session, remember after that first game loss where they scored only 64 points, they had a very, very long day, getting in there around 12 noon, okay, and finishing up about 5:30 at night. 5.5-hour day for Miami. Well, it certainly has paid off.
Solomon Jones in his 3rd year from South Florida, who played in all 7 games in last year's series with the Celtics. 29-point lead for the Heat as they win going away here at home, and the Hawks, as Beasley misses from outside, really have to address their problems playing on the road.
Well, they need their main guys in the starting. Joe Johnson has been taken out of this thing by the commitment of Miami to double team him whenever possible. He's going to get his points. They have made a very strong commitment that he's not going to get on the roll. He's going to be forced to give up the basketball. When he does give it up, then other people have to step up and make shots. They have to be aggressive and assertive.
And a 2-shot foul as Pachulia picks up his 5th. Timeout. Just shy of 2 minutes remaining. Dwayne Wade can exhale.
Yeah! Of course, it's the Miami Heat Pistons. 6-3 team. Hurry somewhere. People got t-shirts for you. Let's do it. And he's been checked out. Inside one of those t-shirts are 2 round-trip tickets on the American Airlines. He needs one t-shirt to come your way. Make some noise. Let's go! If you still need a t-shirt, throw your hands up.
There's one guy that has set the tone from the beginning of the night. It certainly is Dwayne Wade, with his scoring ability and his unselfishness, finding open teammates, distributing the basketball, taking on the challenge against the Atlanta Hawks.
Well, there's Pat Riley, and we've been talking about the Heat president, and of course, since the playoffs started, about Chuck Daly. Everyone is wearing the Chuck Daly pin, who is battling cancer, and a great coach and a great friend of coaches. And hats off from the coaches to Chuck Daly as he faces this battle. And, of course, the two of them did oppose each other. There is the pin worn by all the coaches in NBA Finals.
We're talking about 2 Hall of Fame coaches here, and they matched up against each other. 87-88, LA beat Detroit 4-3, and then they came back the next year in 88-89, and Detroit shut out the Lakers. That's when Magic had gotten hurt, and Byron Scott had gotten hurt, if you remember.
Yep.
So they faced off each other in finals back-to-back years. Pat Riley, 3-time NBA Coach of the Year with 3 different teams. Chuck Daly, back-to-back World Championship. 2 Hall of Fame coaches.
And, of course, the year after Chuck Daly's Pistons swept the Lakers, the Pistons won the NBA title, beating the Portland Trailblazers in 5 games. It was 1-1 after the first 2 in Detroit. And everyone went out to a very tough court in Portland. And what happened? The Pistons swept the Trailblazers, winning 3 on the road to capture the back-to-back NBA title. So substitutions all around. Hunter is in the game. Othello Hunter, number 50 for the Atlanta Hawks, as is Thomas Gardner. The Heat, perfect from the free throw line. 19 of 19. There you see the lineup for TNT. Magic Sixers, Blazers Rockets, Game 4 tomorrow. Coverage will begin at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. As we approach a minute to go in the game, AC Law, who's been out for a while with back spasms, missed the last 12 games. Second year out of Texas A&M, getting some action before this game is history. 107-76, under a minute to play. Beasley with 6 on the shot clock. And the rebound by Othello Hunter. So there you see the last 5 road games to this point, and of course the basket made makes it a 29-point game, 28-point game. But in any event, the Hawks losing to the Celtics 4 games on the road last year by an average of 25 a game. And again, losing big on the road here. Quinn misses from outside. AC Law driving against Quinn. And that'll do it. Well, they told everyone Black is back. And the Miami Heat dominance at home is back. Dwayne Wade. 29 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 block shots. Faced 5 Heat players in double figures. Atlanta had 3 players with 13 points. And the final score, the Miami Heat 107, the Atlanta Hawks 78. And the Heat taking a 2-1 lead in the best-of-7 series, with game number 4 coming up Monday night right here in Miami. And let's send it over to Cheryl Miller.
Well, Dwayne, since losing game 1, you guys said it was going to be very important to match their physicality and also their athleticism. Talk about your
12 tonight.